Good evening, everybody. How we doing?
Good.
Hey, welcome to Marital Motivations with Jermaine. I stumbled today. That's usually her role. And we have some special guests. As you see, we have got Jasmin and Jermaine from Around the Island podcast.
Hey.
Hello, guys. Good to see you.
What's going on?
Good to see everybody today. So, we want to give everybody the opportunity to share the podcast. We're on YouTube Live right now, Facebook Live right now. Please tag somebody, share it on whatever platform you want to share it on. We would love to have some input for the conversation that we're going to have today. But we are blessed. We are wonderful. We are happy. We are good. And we're going to get it started. So I always let my wife have her segue in and say whatever it is she wants to say.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Again, we want to welcome Jermaine. We're ready to have some fun. We are ready to be able to have a good conversation while we're just laughing and just having a good time on today. So we're just talking a little bit about who the heck did I marry? And this is a conversation dealing a little bit with family. So we're so often, you hear some people say when you get married, you don't just marry the person, you marry their whole family. Is that true? Is it not true? I don't know. Let's talk about it on tonight. Y'all ready? So Jasmin and Jermaine, if you all, either one of you would share with us just a little bit again about your podcast Around the Island. I hope you've had an opportunity to share it so that all of your followers can join us as well. But if you all just tell us a little bit about what you all do.
And please give us a little history behind you, how long you've been married, all that good stuff.
All that good stuff. Babe, you take the front seat. Gotcha.
So Around the Island podcast came together with our good friends Nikita and Evan. Jermaine's good friend Evan. They met on some music stuff and they just kind of bonded and connected that way. From there, we all formed a relationship and we got closer. And I guess through like conversation with Jermaine and Evan, they started talking about their podcast and branding because this is their clothing line.
Shout out Nikita and Evan.
Yep. You can't right? in their branding. So they wanted to do more for God's kingdom and they came with the podcast and asked us to be a part of it, which we did. And so we did a couple episodes. We've been kind of on pause for a little bit these past like month or so.
Yeah,
life been happening.
Mm-hmm.
We're currently expecting. So we're having a baby the next 2 months. So he'll be here before we know it. And basically, we've been married for almost a year now. We got married November the 11th of last year. And now we're pregnant. So haven't had a chance to really, we enjoyed each other while we had a chance to, but now we're about to have a baby. So that's going to transition, our marriage focus.
Family.
So family for sure. Yeah. You want to add something?
Yeah, man, just to piggyback off of what she said, it's been, like I said, life been a catchphrase for this season, man. It's been life. I commend y'all. I really do. I commend y'all for y'all consistency with what y'all do in y'all ministry. We've been watching and I love y'all consistency as far as just staying on it, which we probably gonna dive into as far as finding that balance or whatever, but like as far as us, it's family right now. Family has the number one priority right now. Sowing into our marriage, solidifying the marriage, trying to raise kingdom kids, like Pastor Tony Evans say. Like I want a kingdom family. It ain't just about me, not just about her. We want our kids saved. We want our kids' friends saved. We want our brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, cousins,
Everybody.
Everybody saved. So that's been the main focus right now. Just making sure the foundation is straight right now. You know what I mean? So
beautiful.
I love it.
I just have one request as we go forward. I just need to hear a little bit of Baltimore come out.
Oh Lord, here she goes. Here she goes. Don't pay her no mind. Don't pay her no mind.
And she pronounced it wrong. It's Baltimore. Everybody, it's
Baltimore. Baltimore.
Silent.
Yeah, I was trying to get all that out.
I pronounced like a D. Baltimore. Baltimore.
I have to practice that one off stage. I have to practice that one a little later. But yeah, I want to hear a little bit of that.
She is extremely articulate. So,
Baltimore.
All right, so we're going to let Mr. David jump on in.
Well, the first question is, like we said at the beginning, do you believe that when you get married, you marry the entire family? And then what does that look like and how do you navigate that? So I'll start with, let's start with Jermaine. I'll pose the question straight to you and then we'll bump to Jasmine and we'll keep it moving.
That's absolutely. Absolutely. That's like a loaded question. Like, yes, you marry the family, but at the same time, like her favorite word is like boundaries. You got to have boundaries as far as who you let sow and kind of speak into it. Like me and her dad are super close. I'm getting super close now with her cousin, her sister's my sister. Shout out to sis. Just had a baby.
Had a baby today.
Just had the baby. But, yeah, you absolutely marry the family. It's just be mindful of how much you let them, if any, you allow them to kind of influence and run your household. You know what I mean? So you can probably dive in deeper.
I totally agree with what Jermaine said, but to go a little deeper, when you think about just the family dynamics and all, and how he was raised and brought up plays a tremendous impact on his behavior and his thinking and stuff like that. So, just thinking about how he was raised and how, where he came from, his background. We came from two different backgrounds, two different households. And in the beginning, that played, it impacted our relationship.
Still do.
It still does sometimes. Still do. And far just communication and like things like that, because like he grew up in a household was like you and a child stay in a child's place. What happens in his house stays in his house. Like very, very, like I would say strict.
Yeah, absolutely.
Religious, total, background. So in me, I came from a total different background and in my raising, my upbringing. So it definitely plays a part. But like he said, having boundaries and making sure that you are allowing, your healthy family members be a part of your union and talking to you and so on into you, and not just allowing anyone and everyone, because even though we may come from dysfunctional families, we still have to be mindful of what we allow to come into our union.
Okay. I thought I agree. Definitely. I think we're probably all on the same page that yes, you do. When you marry somebody, you marry their family, but you have to have boundaries. It's like the core of the relationship, the ride or die, is you and your spouse. Right. But other people, you have to choose, what level of input they have, if any, like you said, and what level of conversation goes out and goes in, because that can create conflict, within the marriage. And then another thing for me, I think, is that for me, unless it was more of her family was extremely close, her and her sister, like I said, they would be on the phone all day, every day. I was like, there's not that much talking in the world, and then for me, growing up in the military background, there's that separation, that disconnect, where it's like, all right, we gone, out of sight, out of mind, boom, whatever, but just getting used to the family dynamic can be a challenge. The one thing that I always say, though, somebody actually asked me this question and I was just like, your relationship changes as you change, when it comes to family in a household and family in your marriage. It's like you're not 12 anymore. Right. Like that relationship with your parent is different. And now that you're 20, 30, 40, that relationship is different. So you gotta not go to your mom or your dad for every single thing. Not that she wouldn't do that. You know what I'm saying? But and you see that constantly where it's like, let me tap into the fam. Let me tap into mom. Let me see what dad got to say. Or dad, can you help me? Or mom, can you do this? So you leaving yourself open, like you said, for conflict.
Yeah.
We got some comments going on over there.
Yeah, we got some people coming in.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, from Baltimore in the house.
See,
Hey, she said
I got to practice it in the back room. We can't do it up here. So, to answer the question for me, I absolutely totally agree with what everybody has said. Yes, family does play a big part in how we've grown up, who we are. All of that comes from the influence of our family. When my father walked me down the aisle and took me down that aisle to David, basically he was like, here.
No, I let me please. I gotta tell the story, y'all.
I'm gonna see if yours is good, then I'm gonna share mine. I might share.
No, when I went to this man's house to ask for his daughter's hand in marriage, I wanted to do it the right way. He's old school, and so he said, "All right, you gonna have your house. I'm gonna have my house. You gonna stay at your house. I'm gonna stay at my house." He was like, "Don't you bring her back."
You're straight.
You don't bring me.
No, he ain't say it, but he showed implied.
I'm just saying. But anywho, since you went down that little rabbit hole. But anyway, I just believe that, yes, you do marry the family, like I said, more so from the perspective of who you are based on, all of those influences that you've had. But the Bible tells us what the word say. What the word say? What the word say? The word says, "For this cause shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh." So I'm saying that to say, yes, obviously we have to deal with each other's families to a certain extent. Like you said, you can only come so far if you're bringing a negative influence into my household. Because at that point, guess what? We're cleaving. We're cleaving. So if that means that, okay, then there has to be some separation in order for us to cleave and for our marriage to work, because we have to do what works for us. So I say yes to a certain extent. Now when it comes to children that are there prior to the marriage, now that's a 100% yes. Because if and now we're going to talk about, I think we'll go there with quote unquote blended families, if we want to call it that. But if I had a child, a big mistake I think so many singles make when they're starting to date. Yes, I don't say introduce your child to every man that you go out with, because every man ain't your husband. But as you start to get to know him, or you all start knowing each other, at some point, if you see that there's some seriousness there to this relationship, you've got to introduce the child. Let the child be involved, because otherwise you have a man and a woman that's in love with each other and they're talking about spending the rest of their lives, and the child is like, no.
You got
and then
there's the Nerf gun every time you come out. Yeah, shooting you with the Nerf guns and taking your Well, I had nightmares, man, when I first met Lil D. I love him to death.
Because Jermaine is the first man that has ever been around JC other than his father. So when he came in the picture, JC didn't take it, too well.
He couldn't stand me.
Who are you? Who are you? He's like 3 at the time.
He here again.
But now let me ask you that then. So how long into your dating was it before you actually introduced the two of them?
We started talking in like October 2019. Started talking consistently, I would say like October 2019. And he probably didn't meet Jermaine maybe like December, close to January.
The week before the Christmas thing at the church we used to go to.
Yeah. So
within a couple of months.
Yeah.
Okay, and that makes sense because you knew then, like, okay, this is something. I'm talking about people that wait until they're engaged.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, now you want to introduce the children, and the children are just like, nah.
Yeah, seen it happen, seen it happen. One thing that Leslie said that I was like, when you said cleave, cleave obviously means to join. And it makes me think of like magnets. It's like you can't adhere to two different things. Like if the marriage is our union is core, that's what we're supposed to be cleaving to. And anything that's pulling you this way is separating you from your spouse in that union. So when you are keep consistently being pulled into this direction or that direction, depending on family, dynamics, can be detrimental to the relationship.
Yeah, and I'm grateful that my sister and David, I mean, it's not even an in-law thing. David is my sister's brother.
She get on my nerves.
What is they have their own little nicknames for brothers and everything. So
right,
I
do. I love her like she is my sister, and I would do anything for her, because she's family, but there can be hiccups and problems in your marriage because of family, so we'll turn it over to you guys. What do y'all want to talk about?
I was about to say to piggyback kind of off of that. That's why it is super, super important, just beyond family, to really like create a community, a healthy community, period. Not even just family. Like I consider y'all family now. Like you somebody I really can look at as like a mentor or somebody I can cling on to for advice. So I've been blessed. I've been blessed in this season, the last year and a half. Because when God starts working with you, He sends you through that pruning season where you lose all your friends, and what I'm saying? Like you almost feel like you're on ironically, you feel like you're on an island by yourself, but then I didn't do that on purpose neither. You feel like you're on an island by yourself, and then gradually God starts answering your prayers and pouring the right pieces, I guess, into your life. Like I said, now I have Evan, I have Nikita, I have you, I have Miss Leslie, I have pretty much everybody at Freedom Church. I have everybody at Freedom Church, and those things played a huge role in who I am as a man, as a husband, as a father. Like it's no going back from here. So just be mindful of that.
And of course, family is not just the family you're born into. I mean, you sometimes have friends that's closer than family, than blood real. Family members, So that's still family.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. So one of the questions I wanted to ask is, how do you give me an example? I think we should all give an example of how you dealt with family.
I already know the question.
Take a drink.
I ain't got nothing to drink. But how you dealt with, family issues within your marriage, and you don't have to be specific, because everything is done in love here. Everything is done in love and in growing and maturing and, just trying to motivate and be beneficial, so I'll throw it out there to y'all if y'all want to start, or you want to start. Since you want to start, and then we'll go to.
Thank you. I'm trying to figure out how
we had a situation with family where I was not accepted with some people on David's side of the family, where I wasn't accepted, and because of them not choosing not to accept me, some harsh words were spoken, and different things, and my feelings were hurt behind it, and the whole thing that I'm so appreciative of is how my husband handled it, because my husband basically was like, if you can't accept my wife, then you're not accepting me. And if you can't deal with her, then you won't deal with me. He basically protected me. And when I tell you, that was life-changing in our relationship. You know, we already had a good relationship, but that made our relationship gooder. You know, it brought me to this place of, oh my goodness, this man loves me. He has my back. And I don't care who it is. I don't care what our relationship faces. I know he's got my back and I know he's going to protect me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like I said, the two become one. There's no me without her. There's no her without me. And I think that, like I said before, we talk about how you grow in relationships. You know, people, it's like we're 30 something years old, we're 50 years old, and we're still acting as if mom, dad, siblings, aunts, whoever, like it's still a relationship that we had when we were little. And it's not. I'm a grown man, you know, so we're going to talk as grown men, you know, or we're going to talk as grown woman to grown man, you know, and it's like, not being rude, but we have to set boundaries and understanding that the word says we forsake everything else, but this one that we joined with, and not everybody understands that. Oh, you change, you different. Well, you know, it is what it is. I still love you, but I've got boundaries. You know, there's certain things you can say, can't say. There's certain things you can do, can't do.
Absolutely.
You know, and however, I will say I will not change what makes me happy to appease you. You know, my thing is, if I want to do this, this is what I'm going to do. You got a problem with it? That's between you and the Lord.
You know what I love? I love the fact that. So I found myself coming across a lot of men, and I'm gonna be blunt. I ain't gotta be specific, but I'm gonna be honest. Coming across a lot of men that have this, like, women bring you down, or you taking a risk by being married, or you taking all the risks, or y'all sick of this whole women are the prize, like a very, I don't even know what to call it. It ain't even chauvinistic, but like it's such a toxic way of thinking. But I love the fact that, like, you're saying how I feel too. Like, no, my wife was an upgrade to who she helped me upgrade who I am. So if you can't appreciate what she brought into my life, and the I don't want to say new me, but like the new me, the old me don't exist no more. So I pretty much said, like, to part from people that can't really get past who I am now for the sake of my marriage is a win-win. Like, that's a win-win. I feel like Evan say, like, the oil is on the marriage, or the oil is on the unity. Like the grace is on the marriage. Yes. I'm not gonna to separate from a covenant between myself, my wife, and God because you're uncomfortable. You know what I mean? So it is. I love the fact that you keep putting it back on that, and as a man too. Like, it's dope. Women, y'all do this all the time. Y'all really do. Y'all, I love my king, or I got the one. It's the fellas where we almost find it hard to be honest. Like, no, man, like, yo, we all need somebody. And absolutely. I ain't gonna say we all need somebody, but like, when you find the one that adds to you, you become better.
Yes.
What's that old phrase people used to say? You whipped.
Yeah, whip.
Yeah.
You know, but my thing is, if you like the person that's whipping you,
hey. But my thing is, but it goes back to what we talked about a couple episodes ago, that fairy tale episode, where men are constantly taught and told that marriage is not for them, that marriage is a bad thing, that, you know, like you said, it's like you why are you getting married? You going into a worse situation than being single. And it's just been fed to our minds, you know, constantly, you know, and so brothers ain't trying to hear it, you know, a lot of times, but it's good to have men that got their head on straight and that celebrate that. And that's what you got to surround yourself with. You know, I don't surround myself with foolishness. You know, if you're not speaking life, and if you are ignorant to some things, then I'll give you the opportunity to get some education through the word.
Without me, be without me though. Like, I'll be over here when you get it. Then
right, you know, it's good. But
go on, Jazz.
Go ahead, Jazz. Go ahead, Jazz.
So I wanted to go back to the original question you asked, like, how do we deal with family conflict, right? That was the original question, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I come from a very family-oriented background. Like my family and I are very close. Like we're very close. Like my cousins and I were very close. We grew up together. So we really like learn how to work. We can love on each other, hate each other one day, but come back together. So we really learn how to work things out. But however, during this journey, during this season in my life where I got closer to God, I found myself not being as like close knit as I used to be. Nothing, towards them, but just my own personal journey. And I think that they appreciate that and support that about me. They never said nothing down towards me or anything like that. So they always been supportive of Jermaine and I's marriage. So I really love, that my family does do that. However, it does come to a point where you have to be mindful of setting boundaries, like we said before, because the family conflicts, it do go down, and we have some big blow ups in our family. But for the most part, where I'm at right now in this season, I find myself having those boundaries, talking to them when necessary, and just being supportive as much as possible. I'm the peacemaker of the family. So I try my best to, be the peacemaker, but yeah, it does get.
What's the flip side of that coin, though? What's the flip side of being the peacemaker? You bring that home, like the stress of that. And I will say, I love the fact, like she was saying, she's cut. I'm not gonna say cut the cord so much in this season, but you've gotten better at not bringing stuff into our household. You know what I mean? It's very easy for you to be in the midst of two people arguing, and then you break it up. Now your stress is all high, and then you come home, and I'm like, what I do? I ain't let somebody caught early. You know what I mean?
I'm with you, but I don't know if y'all remember that first time we met. We talked about that book. Men are like waffles, women are like spaghetti, and it's that's real. Like I said, you have a conflict over here, and it's connected, and you don't realize how you bring
it's all entangled like this for a woman.
How you break stuff home, But I think also I kind of always try to operate in a mindset is, will this conversation benefit or build the trust in our relationship, or do the opposite whenever I decide to share something? You know what I'm saying? That's kind of how I do. But I don't know if you were finished, Jasmine. My bad.
No, I was finished. I was basically saying, my family's pretty much supportive, and I have learned how to have boundaries and not bring issues home and things like that. And yeah, like God is good. So I'm very thankful of how he has, like, how far he has brought me in my own personal journey, and how much he plays a part in my life. And that's what I use to help me navigate through conflict. Prayer is always my first to go to. Let's pray about it. Let's pray together. What can I do? Like, how can I pray for you? So yeah, it definitely has helped tremendously.
Absolutely. You very quick. We both try to be quick to forgive. To forgive. Even if we and just communicate that. Like, can we yeah. So so it happened today. It happened yesterday. So it happened yesterday. It happened the last time we spoke. The you talk a lot thing. Like that hurt, man. That hurt my feelings. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't know it hurt my feelings. Like she pretty much, well, y'all know, but the fans don't know. So we was talking, and y'all asked her to talk more. And she was like, I would talk more, but you always talking. I was like, oh God damn. So it hurt my feelings so bad that I didn't even know my feelings was hurt for like 2 days. It took me 2 days to process. Like, that really hurt my feelings. We talked about it. We squashed it. We settled it. It came back again yesterday. But she was so quick to forgive. I didn't even really have time to get mad at it. You know what I mean? Like, and that's what I really hope people see. I don't want them to hear like, oh, they sound like they solve every issue, or they ain't got no issues, or they got it all together, or they only got pot. No, we go. Who was it, man? Was that Pastor Mike? Pastor Mike posted something. I think it was Pastor Mike. We as Christians or as believers, we go through the same problems. We just don't go through problems the same.
Wow,
that's
good.
Powerful to me. Like that's exactly what it is. We have the same argument, same disagreements, same sensitive hurt feelings. You know, it's just like, you know what? I'm sorry, babe. Hey, man, she told me she's sorry. I forgive you, man. And then we squash it and communicate through it, man. So I like that. Well, yeah, man. So live on cam, live moment.
So yes, that is true. And for me personally, there was a point in time where my anxiety would go through the roof when these couple of instances would happen. And so like when he did need space to process or something like that and know how to like respond to that. So I will like always like, you know, can we talk about it now? Can we talk about it now? When can we talk about it? So now I just find myself like, I know him so well now. I'm like, okay, that's cool. You know, he'll, and my mom told myself he'd be all right. He's cool. And we'll talk about it the next day or something like that. So I'm really learning how to be, but not even force conversations. I'm like, okay, cool. I'll do whatever, get my mind off of it, pray, read my Bible, whatever, talk on the phone, whatever. But yeah, we came a very, very, very long way. What you see now is not what it was at all.
It ain't what it was last month. Like we just, it's a work in progress, man.
It's always, you know, if you go, if like you say, if life is life, and you are learning, and you are changing, and you are evolving, and you are growing. Because, like I say, we've been married for 25 years, and we still look at each other like, "Oh, you're getting on my nerves today," you know. And we know when we're getting on each other's nerves because we've been married for 25 years. You know what I'm saying? But it still doesn't change the fact that we do have disagreements. We do have problems. We do have issues just like everybody else. So it doesn't matter if you're married for a year or if you're married for 15 years, 30 years, 60 years. You know, you're still going to have conflict. You're still going to have issues. Maine, are you a deal with it in the moment kind of person, or you need time?
Did you not just hear what I just? It took me 2 days. It took me 2 days to realize she hurt my feelings. Like I'm trying to tell you, like I'll pastor preached on who was that at the well? Was that John and Peter? Peter and John at the well, he was like, God is funny because he put two people that are so polar opposites together to accomplish something. It is not a walking contradiction. It's a divine collaboration or whatever. That's what we are. She can she'll know she said something as it's coming out of her mouth that hurt my feelings. She'll know and be like, God, and then she'll try to get all super sweet. Instead of like, she'll try to do super sweet. You need anything, babe? You need me doing it? You need to do this? Like, meanwhile, I'm hurt and I don't even know what I'm hurt for. It take me 2 days to be like, you know what, man? When she said that really pissed me off. Like that really did hurt my. So no, I'm a very slow processor. Like, and she is a goddamn supercomputer.
And that's one thing I have to say that I had to. I'm still learning how to do it because, like he said, he's slow at processing his emotions, and I'm real good with like articulating how he's feeling. Like he can't hide on his face what's wrong with him. Like I can tell he's upset, and I just be like, okay, what's going on now? What did I do? And I always say to myself, well, what did I do? And I try to go back to what did I say? What did I do? Like like okay, did I say something? Like, did I do something? And in the moment, he's like, I don't know.
Well, I want you to share because I know that was you at one point.
And he be like, I don't know.
I don't even know. You okay? I guess I'm
right.
I don't know.
I don't know, Jazz. So I'm like, okay, like, well, then a couple hours later, or maybe the next day or 2 days later, he's like, I was upset that you did X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, well, I'm sorry, I didn't know. So yeah,
felt like Will Smith at the Oscars. Man. Like I laughed at it 1 minute. I laughed at it when we did it. I was like,
yeah, because in the moment we had laughed. He laughed very lightly when I said it because he kind of like brushed it off and laughed. Like, okay, I was like, he's not mad. But
2 days go by.
That is too funny.
I'm trying to tell you, that's what it felt like. But
oh my goodness.
So it's 2 points I want to make off of that, and I'm probably going to forget one, so I need you to remember what they just said because I probably forget it by the time I finish the first one. But one of the ways that I look at the process of marriage is, how like when someone graduates college, And then now they're looking at their parents and how their parents may be living at a certain level in life because they're established. You know, they've lived, they've gone through all that, and they're now established. And then you've got these kids coming out of college, and you think you're about to live on the same level that your parents are living on, and you're just getting started. And I think a lot of times in marriages, people don't realize you got to start here and build it up. You know, you don't start your marriage already established, knowing each other, knowing what makes each other ticks, knowing what hurts the other person's feeling, knowing what triggers them and what you should and shouldn't. You don't know that. You're still getting to know each other. And so as your relationship builds and you all are developing and learning each other, then you'll get to that place. Was it worth me saying that? That's probably going to hurt his feelings. I probably shouldn't say that. You know, or is there a way that I can say this that's not offensive? I didn't hear what he said, but he over there cracking up.
I said I didn't know I had feelings, but yeah.
Until you got
hard. We hard. Yeah. We good. We good.
Wives have a way that collaboration. We have a way of bringing things out of you that you didn't know was there. You know, so that's one thing, though. You know, it is also learning as a spouse. You know, sometimes when to say things and how to say things, because it doesn't mean you don't say it. If it's something you feel that needs to be said. But how do you say it? When do you say it? And I'll be honest, pillow talk is the best. I call it pillow talk because I just know when I've got him real good and relaxed, we can have some good conversations at that point before he starts snoring.
Just say, my head hit the pillow, I'm asleep, so you better get it.
Nah, you ain't gonna hit it.
I have a question. This is going to tie into some of the questions we're going to ask later, but it was a good segue. Because you said that you know when you've said something that's kind of pushed his button a little bit, Jasmine, and you know when he's upset before he does. Is that because of your background, which is a segue into, you know?
Yeah, it has a lot to do with my background.
So tell us what your background is, and then we're going to talk about this next topic.
So I'm a social worker. I'm a therapist. So I know human behavior. And so, and just learning him, his thing used to say to me was, why are you doing your work on me? I'm not your client. So like,
your work thing on.
Yeah. So and I tried not to do that, but it's really hard for me to like separate the two. Because it's like, it's what I do every day. And I know that in my heart that it's pure and I just want to help. And I'm just like, okay, so how can I fix this? And I just want to fix it. But sometimes I can't fix it. And sometimes it's just a him and God thing. And I can't get involved in that. So I find myself praying a lot for him. Just, you know, whatever it is, Lord, just reveal it because I don't know what it is. Allow the opportunity to happen, to have this conversation because it's driving me crazy. So that's what I was talking about earlier about the anxiety that I used to struggle with a lot was when this does happen, I didn't know what was wrong and I wanted to fix it because I had to fix it because that's what I'm just used to doing, trying to fix stuff. It really would drive me crazy. Like, but through prayer, through all that stuff, God's still working on me. But yeah, because of my background for sure.
So, Jermaine, how do you handle when your spouse is, would you say, working me?
Doing the work thing on me. Stop
doing the work thing on me. How do you handle when your spouse is in work mode at home?
Clock out. Well, clock out. God dang. But I will say, in what Rich say on that one, like it's a maturity on my it's evolution on my part. I have grown to really appreciate it. I've grown to appreciate it. Like I almost we'll laugh at each other because we both nerds just in different things, like in different things. So sometimes when she do it and she's doing it, I just let it run its course. I just let it run its course because I'm trying to get it over with. I'd rather get it over with. Anyway, I'm gonna forget what I'm mad about by the time I sit down and think with it anyway. So just if you can figure it out, help me. You know what I mean? Help me. But other times, like she said, she's gotten better with her anxiety. I got an example. This is one day I came home. I don't even remember what I was mad for because I forget so much. But I was mad about something, and I walked in the house and I went straight to the bedroom and just laid on the bed. She saw me lift her head up, and then she followed me into the bedroom. Was like, "You okay, babe?" I was like, "Nope, I'm not." She was like, "Okay," and then walked right out the room. In her brain, she thought that was a bad thing. I was so happy that she did that when I calmed down and was able to have a conversation with her, I appreciate you so much for doing it. Like, so much for just not going in that moment. Sometimes, like I said, sometimes it's healthy, sometimes it's not. But like we've gotten to a place now where I want to resolve this as quick as possible. If this is something that we can solve quick, if it's a 6 or lower, we can speed past it. But if it's one of those 7 or 8 on a Richter scale type of things, then give me time to process so we can have a healthy conversation with it. So.
Yeah, I think it all boils down, like I said, communication, talking about where you are, and then having that conversation with God. Do I address this now? What is your plan? What do you want me to do? Because it's easy for us, like you said, to get in work mode. Y'all's is definitely different than ours. So, because, having a social worker background, that's, I couldn't imagine. We would probably get on each other's nerves more than Lord. Me being a restaurateur, we can actually be in the kitchen at the same time. Mm-hmm. However, I know I get on her nerves. Just like she's very administrative, so I'll just be like, all administrative stuff go to you. So we don't necessarily have those issues anymore.
So yeah, I never get off work either.
Nope.
But he likes it. He likes that part of it.
Because I'm a fly by the seat of my pants to a point kind of person. I just go with it. I'm like a leaf on the top of the water. Wherever the water goes and it take me, that's where I'm going. Lord say go that left, I'm going left. You
can't go wrong with that. I follow the Lord. If the Lord ain't tell me to forgive you yet. All right, you can't argue back with that. He ain't tell me to forgive you yet. Give me a second. Give me a second to process it. Because I know myself. If
the Lord didn't tell me to forgive you yet.
Yeah, he tripped.
No.
Forgive him yet.
In this moment, and last night when it happened, I'm gonna read the story from last night. Last night when it happened, I didn't know what I was forgiving you for.
Okay.
In that moment, I'm not just gonna say the words or just apologize, just to apologize. I don't know what you're apologizing for, or I don't know I don't know if you saying sorry for that is what I'm really mad about in this moment. When I say I'm slow at processing. She'll say it, and I know I bug her. I'll be at a red light listening to a song. I'll get an email or a notification from a bill or something, and my entire mood shift. The entire mood will shift. And I'm like, why am I mad? Why am I mad? I can't figure out why I'm mad, even though I know it's from the email. Like, I shouldn't still be mad at this. And then I'll get mad that I know I'm mad at something that I still shouldn't be getting mad at. It sends me down a whole rabbit hole. A whole rabbit hole. So, and she'll know instantly. She feels it, and she got like a spidey sense instantly for it. And you got to sit there until my slow brain catch up. I'll be back Wednesday.
Yeah. When it comes to forgiveness, though, it's like, Lord, reveal it. Lord, reveal it to me. Reveal what it is that's in my heart that I've got to fix, that I'm so upset. I don't know why I'm upset, but Lord, you are the God of peace and the God of forgiveness and the God of reconciliation. So, I need you to reconcile this situation, even though I don't understand it,
it's to remove the scales off my eyes. Like that's my new thing. When I'm mad and I don't know what it is, or I don't know what the solution is in that moment, Lord, remove the scales from my eyes. Like, remove the scales from my eyes. Show me what it is. What's the one we was watching the other week? Where it was like, the problem is not your spouse. The problem is this. Y'all two need to look at what the real problem is. What the problem, if we're bickering over something, she's not the problem. That's something that we're bickering over is the problem. So that changed everything too. Reveal to me what that something is, because even right now I don't know. And so that's been awesome.
Yeah. So one thing I was going to say with all of that as well, though, Jazz, out there, but when he was saying that he went in the room and laid down, and you came in and said, "Are you okay?" He said no, and you said okay and left the room. Perfect response. You know, and sometimes not sometimes, all the time, we have to go up before we go out. We talk about that often in our podcast. So when you came in and you saw the disposition being off, I think one of the things we used to struggle with in our marriage is I would see something was off, and I said, "Babe, you okay?" "Yeah, I'm good."
I'm good.
Like everything that you just displayed said you're not good, but you're saying you're good. But I'm like, you're really not. And I used to be that girl that I would be like, "Oh, what did I do?" And now I got to go back and process. Did I do this? Did I say something? And the Lord was like, you know what? That's his issue. Whatever it is, even if it is something that I said or something that I did, he's a big boy. He's grown. He'll come and let you know if it had anything to do with you. So now whenever he's in that place, do I pray for him? Absolutely. Yes, I do. But I don't put myself in that position to cause anxiety, worrying. Is it something that I did? No, I'm a good wife. That's my position now. No, I'm a good wife. And even if I did do something, it wasn't intentional. So when he's ready to talk about it, he'll come and let me know. And 98% of the time, it has nothing at all to do with me. Nothing at all to do with me. It could have been something at work. Could have been he was mad because the light turned red before he came home when he was driving home. It had nothing at all to do with me. Right. But instead of me carrying that weight now, and oh my goodness, what did I do? Another point that we've made before in one of the books that we read, it talked about how men would go into their caves. So Jermaine, what you do in that needing that time to process, stop saying you're slow. You're not slow. It's a process mode that you have to go through. It's normal for men. So a situation happens. Now you go and you lock away so that you can process. Jasmine, what will happen though is if you go chasing in that cave after him, they call it the bear cave. And so if he's in his cave and you come chasing after him in a cave, what is a bear going to do if you chase him into a cave? He's going to swat at you, and you're going to be the one that gets hurt. But all he needed was that time to process.
Right.
I was hoping one of us was going to say that, because like y'all gave like the healthy scenario of how it plays out. Right. That's exactly what happens. You end up creating what it's not really there. Your anxiety or your imagination is making you create this story, and you act out the role, and then it creates itself. So now you are the problem, or you're the conduit or the means for the release of frustration. It was never you. It was like she said, the person that cut you off. It was the unexpected automated bill that came out. It was a random text message, something. But now you're there now. And trying to communicate when, at least for me, I'll make it personal for me, trying to have a conversation with me when I don't have the words yet creates I don't know what it creates. It's just not good. It ain't a healthy conversation.
Okay, so this is the way you handle that. Jermaine, use your big boy words. I can't talk about it right now. Give me some space. Give me some time. And between the two of you, you have to figure out what that time limit looks like.
Yes.
So for us, instead of us walking around the house mad for 2 to 3 days and not talking, we have a limit. Okay, after a certain period, no, you got, now you have to come back. Even if your comeback is, give me a little bit more time, I need one more day. You know, whatever the case is, because you're gonna keep weighing on her mind if you're sitting back like, either I'm okay when she can see that you're not, or you're saying, no, I'm not okay. But then now you leave her in this place of curiosity of what is it? Like you said, now she's weighing on her. So, okay, communicate. Give me some time. Let me have a day. I don't know what's going on right now. Let me have some time. Give me a day. Jasmine, then you leave him alone during that time.
That's my favorite thing. Like I don't know what it is right now, but I just need some space. That's like my favorite thing to say. That's my favorite
But
thing.
then this is gonna be my rebuttal to that is, you have to pray and ask God to reveal it to you, because the more we say I don't know, the more I don't know becomes reality, because we're speaking that into is I don't know what's wrong. I thought you know, but no, for real, it's like when you constantly say, just like you give yourself affirmations to build yourself up, but when it comes to conflict, we constantly say as men, we don't know, we don't understand, we don't have the words, you know, we're not emotional, but yes, we are. Our emotions are just different, you know, so we can articulate, we can express the feelings, because God is our Father, and you know, he'll give us wisdom, he'll give us direction, he'll give us, you know, he said, you know, don't ask for, I'm not a man that you would ask for bread and I give you a stone. So if you ask for the words, he'll give you the words. We just got to be receptive. And that's the thing, because we think it's wrong to be able to articulate what's in our heart, because we're constantly told that our heart's supposed to be hard. So it's hard for us to articulate that. But it's real. We're told that it's hard. It's not. It's not.
Go on, Jazz.
I want to go back to what you said about the intent part, because I think that when we hold on to like the negative thoughts that we have about our spouse, it leads us to thinking like, okay, this person's they're trying to hurt me, or they meant to do that. But I feel like if we hold on to the positive aspect of our spouse, like, you know, I know they probably didn't mean it. Maybe it was something that they just said without even thinking things through. Like, I think that's helpful, because he had said before, you know, the intent, it doesn't really matter about the intent. You know, I'm like, well, I know I didn't mean to say that to hurt you. I just, you know, but he's like, well, it happened before, and you're not, you know, whatever. I'm just like, well, I'm really not trying to hurt you. I would be more mindful with the word choices that I say moving forward. So yeah, I just wanted to put that out there about, you know, holding on to the positives of your spouse, so that way you're not, you know, allowing your anxiety to think that, okay, they're going to do something to hurt you, and they're really not.
Or you villainize them. Like, you villainize them. You make them out to be like, you know what? If, like, what's the word? Like, the mindful. When the way she apologizes diffuses whatever toxic thing that may have, like, sprinkled into my spirit as a result of something she did. She'll be like, you know what, man? Like, I'll be more mindful of that. You can't stay mad at somebody to tell you they're gonna be more mindful of the stuff they're gonna do. You know what I mean? Like, she got the perfect words for it. It's just like, you know what, you good. I didn't do it. My intention wasn't to offend you. Then my response would be like, yo, it don't matter what the intent was. Yo, it hurt my feelings. Like, it still hurt my feelings. Take accountability for it hurting my feelings.
Nope.
And response would be, you know what, I apologize. I'll be more mindful.
Yeah. And let me say this though. Everybody is entitled to feel the way that they feel. So even in a situation with, I'm gonna go back to the example that you all gave, where Jasmine said, well, because you talk so much, I can't get a word in. I would say more. Jasmine, if you had put the focus on you instead of on him, then his feelings wouldn't have been hurt. If it could have simply been, you know, babe, I do have some things to say. Sometimes I may just find it hard to jump in the middle of a lot of conversation, you know, as opposed to when you talk a lot. And so therefore I can, you know, it's just a matter of the wording. Exact same point that's made. It's just a matter of wording. Instead, yeah, right. The I've terms as opposed to you terms. Because if you're sharing your feelings, your emotions, where you are, how can he get offended because of how you feel?
Right.
as opposed to what you do. You're talking so much. You're too chatty. You're, you know, as opposed to, I do have something.
All right, cool. I'll be quiet.
You know, but even just changing that from I as opposed to you makes people defensive.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody comes to you saying you did this, you did that, immediately you're going to get defensive in that.
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to I felt this way, or this is where I am, you know, how's that going to offend you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we got all, like you said earlier, it's our own issues. Our spouse is going to bring out between the Lord and your spouse. You will learn so much about your issues, where you fall short, and then, but also how to grow and how to overcome. Because there's a pricking and there's a pruning and there's a struggle, but you know, it still grows into something great. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we got to realize that, you know, when our spouses get on our nerves, you know, what I do now when I'm mad, I'm like, all right, Lord, what is it in me that got me so pissed off? Right? Because I know it's me. It ain't got nothing to do with her. It's like the look.
I'm gonna go in my prayer closet real quick. Let me go and sit in my closet. That's exactly what it is, yo.
Yeah, because it's like, you know, it's like if you have a scar and it's sore, the issue is on your body. It's you. If somebody comes along and accidentally touches it, is it their fault that you already had the scar? No. It's not their fault. That's your scar. That's your sore. That's your broken place. You got to get that healed. They just walk by it, you know. So
that's a dope analogy.
Yeah, I love that.
That was good, baby. That was good. That was good. I like my analogies and my parables.
Get your stuff. Get your stuff. That might end up in a rap lyric soon. I like that.
Oh man.
And speaking, and look, it says rap lyric. You talking about her bringing her job home. How many times do you come home and share your raps and your music and stuff with her? Oh, okay. It goes both ways. Okay, it goes both ways. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But she likes this though, because when I'm
likes it.
Yeah, she like when I'm in my writing phase, I'm the most communicative person in the world. Like I get all my emotions out in the music. When I'm going through that writer's block, something wrong, and I don't know what it is yet. And then God gives it to me through the pen. So.
But now you just wait. I'm gonna put it out there. I'm gonna put it out there. You just wait until God teaches you how to take all of those emotions that you put into that music, and you're gonna pour that into your wife. It won't even have to be through music. You're gonna pour that into your wife. I'm looking forward to that transition, even in your marriage.
Amen.
It's coming. It's coming. We getting it. We getting it. Slowly but surely, but we getting it. But yeah, man. I had a thought right before we started, and I don't remember what it was. What was the thought? I wrote it down.
I know that handy dandy notebook.
Hey.
The more we say what we don't know, the more I don't know what reality becomes. How do you speak life into your reality, yo, in those moments where you don't have the words? You were saying more so it's like be mindful of what you say. Like be mindful of what you say. What are you saying to yourself in those moments where you don't have the words? When you recognize you're annoyed, or your spouse has irritated you and you don't have nowhere to go. Like there's nowhere to go. It's y'all, this house, this where y'all at. And y'all gotta be peaceful and while you're going through like a storm or war in your mind at the same time. Kind of want either one of y'all.
You want to go first?
I'm gonna let you handle that because that's
my wheelhouse. Because I'll be on forget 100, I'll be on 1200.
Yeah.
I get it. So for me, I am constantly praying, Father, this is not how you created me to be. God has given us every emotion. So there's nothing wrong with anger. There's nothing wrong with frustration. But he also is a God of peace. And our relationship should be a place of peace. So I'm like, God, this is not what you created me to be. This is not what it should be. So help calm my nerves. Give me peace to my anger so that, and show me what it is that I got to do to get this right. Because you can be civil. It's honestly, it's a decision. It truly is a decision, I feel like, because I always told Leslie that I had a mean streak before we got married. And she was like, no, he's so sweet. And then she felt the wrath one day and she got a different understanding, you know, but I know my anger, rage level gets to a certain point where it's unhealthy. And I'm like, God, that's not what you created me to be, you know, and we've got to recite the word. You know, we've got to speak those things into existence. So we have got to declare over ourselves, because we'll easily pray for somebody else when they're going through some stuff. Mm-hmm. So we got to do that. We have that same zeal, that same desire, you know, that I pray for myself. It's like, Lord, this is not what you created me to be. I need peace in this situation. This is your daughter, your child. You know what I'm saying? So I got to treat her how you want me to treat her. And that was a hard lesson to learn. It was a hard the Lord kicked my tail, you know, and it was a hard lesson to learn, to treat her the right way. I've always been good to her, but I know there have been times I haven't treated her the way that I know God was pleased. And, you know, so if your heart is about pleasing God, think about that. Are you pleasing God? If the Lord Jesus was standing right there, you know, you be in a whole different mindset, you know, and we forget that God is always present, even in our anger. So for me, I'm just praying. I am. And when people say, oh, you know, all y'all say do is pray. Prayer is powerful. That's why the Lord said, do it, you know, so pray and expect a change.
And if I can throw something out there too, as well, like David said earlier, like if you have a scar, if you have a sore there and somebody bumps it and it causes pain, what's the core? What's the source of that scar? Usually, if David is irritated by something that I said or that I did, it's usually much deeper than that. You know, because a lot of times it really could be something from childhood. Mm-hmm. It could be something from, you know, I mean, anything, something that happened on the playground when you were 6 and you didn't realize that you never got over it. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I am learning, the older that I get, I'm learning that so much happens in our childhood that we old school, we sweep it under the carpet and we keep stepping over it. Mm-hmm. And then now when you become an adult, that lump under the carpet has become so big, now you're tripping over it. Mm-hmm. But you don't know why you keep tripping over this big elephant that's under the carpet, that like everybody's walking around acting like they don't see it there. Mm-hmm. So really, what is the core? What is really behind why a statement that simple made you angry?
I'm gonna share this before we close. Because I think it's pertinent. So she's talking about old scars. Something happened to me in my childhood, and at that point, I felt as though my emotions, everything concerning me, were irrelevant. So meaning how I felt about a situation was irrelevant. I had to appease everybody. I had to make every single person in my life happy. So anytime something happened with Leslie that I felt like she was disappointed, or I let her down, or I didn't do something that I said I would do, it would send me through the roof in rage and anger, because it wasn't anything to do with that other stuff. It was that 8-year-old boy that I hadn't dealt with that, and the Lord was still working on that with me. And so she's, you know, collateral damage, because she said something in love, but it reminded me of some shortcomings that I had, which then aggravated me, because I should have grown past that Now I'm not where I should be. Now I'm back in this, and then you see that cycle.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like that with a lot of stuff, So we've got to be self-reflective and know that, like one of us said before, our issues are our issues. They're not our spouse's issues. They are our issues, and we got to go to the Lord and get them right, But society wants us to blame everybody else, or society wants us to justify our own. We can be. I'm being my what's the word? Not my
true self.
It's my truth. Yeah, this is my truth. Yeah, your truth sometimes is that you broke and you're ratchet and you broken and you in pain and you need to be delivered from some stuff. That's your truth. You need to go to the Lord and get it right so that your truth can be love and something better. So
absolutely.
Amen.
I'm off my soapbox.
Hey man, that was bars. I needed that. I needed that.
So I think we should wrap it up.
All right.
Anybody want to have any closing thoughts? Anything that y'all want to say? Anything that y'all would like to speak into the peoples that are watching? Any encouraging words that y'all may have? Whatever's on your heart.
You want to go first?
No, I love this. Thank you, for this opportunity and just sharing with us and allowing us to get feedback and we just bounce off each other. I think this was great. I hope that helps someone out there who may be going through some of the similar issues, whatever. But I really hope and pray that it does bless someone.
Absolutely.
So thank you.
And I just want to say, man, like for anybody that's watching this merge journey, this journey of self-discovery or discovery in the Lord, it is a process. Like my new thing or new motto is like, be kind to yourself. I think a lot of people get down on themselves every time they make a mistake or they feel like, I'm who I used to be, or I'm right back to doing the same. We all go through it. You got to bounce back. Like you said earlier, be self-reflective of be honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself on what you're dealing with. Take care of your scars. You are going to be no good to anyone else until you learn to be good to yourself. So God blessed us by allowing us both to kind of grow in him together. Seek God first. Seek God first.
I'll go next. And even still just tying it into the title of this, Who the Heck Did I Marry? In that we all made a conscious decision, before we got married. And I believe, that you all sought the Lord before you made that commitment to each other and to the Lord. So, and I'm not just saying that just you two, I just mean in general with most people, you really go through counseling or whatever, before you marry a person. So just know the person that you married, who you stood in front of at the altar, we all grow, we all change. That's what we're supposed to do. If you ever Jasmin, again, congratulations on your soon to come little one, but if that baby is born and stays forever needing to be changed, the diaper has to be changed and milked, you're going to be like, wait a minute, now you're 16. This is an issue. So the same thing with your marriage. We grow, we, develop, we evolve in that. So just remember, you all grow together, give grace to yourself and give grace to the other person as well.
Absolutely. For me, I would say, absolutely, you do marry family, but understand that you have to set boundaries. You have to set boundaries so that your marriage can flourish, because the union is about you and your spouse. So you have to set boundaries in that, like you said, where we start is not where we end. It is a journey full of ups and downs, over the mountains, down in some valleys, some left turns, right turns. There's a season, just like there's 4 seasons that we go through in the natural. There are seasons in our marriages, and don't give up in the cold season, or don't give up when it's too hot. We gotta, you change, you adapt, you learn, you grow, and the most important thing is to not leave God out of your marriage. He is the glue. He is the thing that holds this entire world together, and he can hold your marriage together. So be kind. I like that. Be kind to yourself. I like that. So definitely be kind to yourself, be kind to your spouse, and just continue to walk out in love, man. That's all I got. Again, share. We want to end with, thank you, Jermaine Jasmin, for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
We appreciate y'all. I would have loved to do this face to face, but now that it's officially fall in the week, this woman is not going above the Mason-Dixon line, as they say. She ain't even gonna go outside for the next 4 months. So.
Only if I have to.
Only.
Okay.
So, however, we definitely coming back up to Baltimore. We'll have some.
When it warms up.
I'm trying to go see them Ravens play in Florida in December. So, But thank y'all for joining us. Please tune into their podcast, Around the Island. You can see them on YouTube. They're on TikTok. They're on Instagram, all other social media platforms. Show them some love. Thank you for everybody who tuned in tonight. We love y'all. We know that you got something out of it. I no longer say I hope, because I know. Because my thing is, God does not waste anything. So these words that we use for this podcast, I know that it's blessed somebody. So continue to just allow the word to fall on good ground. Let it grow. Let it bear some fruit in your life and in your marriage.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. We signing off. We love y'all.
Love you all. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
God bless.